All right, welcome to Kiss My Assets, and I am Jamison and John, co-founder, and I have John Kabrowski, other co-founder of Neighborhood Ventures, here today.
Nice to see you again, man.
Yeah,
Been a
you
busy
too.
couple of weeks.
It has been busy, and we have a lot of questions from investors. When is the next project? We actually have just got our K1s out for 2021, and so the 2021 is officially over, and now we're turning our attention to what is coming this year. So we're excited to talk about Venture on Central. That project launched today to all of our existing investors. Tomorrow it'll be open up to everybody else, but we wanted to dive into a little bit more of a open discussion about some of our thoughts about the property. On the offering page, we have all the summary of the offering and what we plan to do with the property, but wanted to sit down with John and discuss it a bit more. So just to kind of kick it off, want to tell us a bit about what attracted you to this deal and what your first take was when you went and looked at it.
Well, let's call the elephant in the room the elephant in the room. Nothing is cheap anymore. We're not buying this anywhere near we're buying other properties for, so it's a little more expensive than anything else we purchased. But it is a diamond in the rough. It's a fantastic location. It's a Central Avenue address. It's surrounded by multi-million-dollar homes. It's a really desirable place to be. It's it's just the right place to have an apartment building, and they're so rare. There's nothing like that in the area.
Yeah, so we're talking Bethany Home and Central.
Maryland and
Maryland
Central.
Central.
Yeah, and the other thing is, someone might say, "Well, I see apartment buildings on Maryland." Well, most of what you're seeing on Maryland this property backs up to, have all been converted to condominiums. Whether it was the 60s after they built them, the 70s or 80s or even the 2000s, this one survived that. This should have been converted to condos or big units.
Yeah. And it is a little different than a lot of our projects where we're looking to buy in an up-and-coming neighborhood, a neighborhood that's kind of transitioning, where we're seeing additional investment, additional development. In this case, we're right here in the central part of the city that has a lot of established, really nice homes, really nice neighborhoods. And when we first talked about this, it was like, oh, there's a 16-unit apartment building in the middle of all these homes. And
you drive by it a bunch of times because it's on a private street that you would, I drove by it in the middle of the daylight the other day again.
Yeah.
Missed it. But the main thing to understand is it's a really well-run property. They're big units. There's nothing else like that in the area. But to kind of counter your point, Central Avenue was a really dynamic area. When it was first built up in the early 1900s, and then, like everything else, goes up and down, up and down. So it's really starting to come out. This whole uptown area is really starting to become the place to live again. And because it wasn't too long ago, my memory, 20 years ago, living anywhere off of 7th Street, 7th Avenue, Central,
wasn't as desirable.
It was not as desirable.
Yeah.
So now that whole neighborhood's coming back. So it's still coming back, and it's still getting better and better.
Yeah. So 16 units, 2 bed, 1 bath. They all have the identical floor plan.
Right. No, 2 bedroom, 2 bath.
2 bed, 2 bath. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah, and that's key, having that second bathroom.
Right.
Kind of open courtyard, swimming pool.
Yeah, very 60s, breeze block, cool 60s style. Just a really well laid out property.
Plenty of parking on both sides. There's covered parking. As you mentioned, it's a little private driveway off of Central. Now, Central has this unique thing where if you're driving there in the morning, you'll see all these people running on the side of the road on these dirt paths, which is a lot better to run on than concrete, especially
Right.
if you have bad knees. And I didn't know this, but there's a little history to where those came from. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, there's only one of them. It's on the east side of the street.
Okay.
It's called the Murphy Bridle Path, and we've talked about this in some of the other things we've done with the property. But what it was is when those homes people had horses, they would ride their horses up Central Avenue from downtown. And what I heard was that path was dedicated as early as 1830, and it's been there ever since. So what you have on the street is Central Avenue, which another cool thing about that, Central Avenue is not subject to the reverse lane. So we have on 7th Street and 7th Avenue, the lanes change between 4 and 6 at night and between 6 and 9 in the morning.
They call it the suicide lane, and I didn't even know this existed when I'm living in Scottsdale. But I move over here, and it's like
Central does not change.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, So you've got Central Avenue, and then you go east. There's a drainage ditch, which is still used to flood irrigate the big properties. These are large properties. Some of these properties still have horses, sheep, goats, even cattle. If you start going up, there's a couple of them that have cows on their property up there. And then you have the Murphy Bridle Path, and it's all kind of under the cover of some large trees. And it's really kind of almost East Coast-ish, and that's how that developed. These homes were all custom homes that are built in that area, and some of them are really large. And then some of them have been torn down over the years. Big homes are torn down because they're on big lots, and they built 6 homes on it.
Yeah, and this is one of those areas where, you know, my parents come into town or family comes in town. You can't always drive up Central to see these trees that don't feel like Arizona. Big mature trees, shaded trees, big estates on Central, and really unique neighborhood. I think it's
and it's flood irrigated, which allows you to plant and maintain those big trees. But that whole area is beautiful. So I'm excited about it because you don't have housing like that in the area. It's got good access to all the uptown amenities you want, all the restaurants, very quick freeway access, both to the 17 freeway west or the 51 freeway. You can just shoot down Bethany Home or Glendale, and it's a diamond in the rough. You don't even know the building's there.
So we got to meet the current owner. He's owned the property since 79, I believe.
79 or 70. Yeah. I think he said 42 years.
Yeah, and I was born in 80. I'm 41, so I can I can do that math
right,
fairly easy.
The math, yeah.
So yeah, it's somewhere in that range. He's owned it a long time. He hasn't, from the looks of it, besides maintenance, he hasn't done much to the building. He's repaired the roof, he's put on new air conditioning, but he hasn't done anything from a new upgrade when you go look inside the unit.
What he's done are things that he told me that 20 some odd years ago he hired a landscape architect, and they did reconfigure the courtyard, planted a lot of shrubs and bushes there. All that stuff's now overgrown, and some of the things they planted are all gone. So it's time to do that again. But it's really, everything's really well maintained. We're not finding anything really wrong with the property. So the things that we're looking for, the bones of the property, are great. Even the cabinets on the property are solid wood, great cabinets. Appliances, some of them are older. And then the bathrooms we can talk about also, how that's set up.
So we're talking original cabinets, but we plan to keep those if we can.
Right.
Refinish them, put new paint on them, put fixtures on, and we love that because it has these are good quality cabinets, but it also kind of keeps that feel of these mid-century.
There's a lot of them too. So for us to tear all that up just to put new cabinets in, and when these are solid wood, good condition, we can sand them down, and our painters have a special paint they use. It's a very hard paint that sticks well to it and that it doesn't scratch, and then we can add hardware to it, new hinges and knobs or handles. It'll look beautiful, and then we'll put new countertops on. We're going to probably add microwave hoods. There's just simple hoods that are over top of the stoves, but we're going to add microwave hoods. And then a few other tweaks, change out fixtures, the plumbing fixtures,
flooring,
light fixtures. Even though some of the fixtures on the outside of the property, we're probably going to keep. They're the mid-century kind of really cool looking ones that are well maintained. We'll put LED bulbs in them, but we'll keep them. And then the bathrooms, the other part we're starting to get to. This has what they call a Jack and Jill bathroom, where one bedroom has a pass-through to a shared space in the bathroom. But they have these tubs and this other feature that are in there, and they're funky tubs.
They're fat, but they're short.
Yeah, they're like these big fat
square
tubs, and they're really cool, but they don't work anymore. And they're robin's egg blue, or we could refinish them, but they're older tubs. So what we're going to do is it's very common. It's a small fix for us, is to take out the tubs, take out the fixtures on the other side of the tub, and turn it into 2 walk-in showers. So now we end up with 2 real bathrooms that each have their own shower in them. Right. And we're not moving a wall. We have to do much plumbing. It's very simple stuff because all those things are there. And then the last big thing that we're going to do, the owners are already taken the step, or someone's done it in the past, or maybe it was even there before, but they've got washer and dryers in them, but they put them in the pantry where they face in the pantry, and it's just a funky
kind of
spot.
Sticking out, and
and it just doesn't work. So our simple way we're fixing it, we're doing it on Eldon and doing it on some other properties, is we're going to take out the linen closet in the hallway, which is not something people use all the time. And there's like 3 linen closets.
And plenty of space.
There's plenty of space. Take it out, and it's the same spot where the washer and dryer is. We're just flipping it around. So we're not having to do any plumbing. We're just flipping the washer and dryer around. So now it faces into the hallway, and we'll frame it nicely. And we're going to have a stacked full-size washer dryer in the hallway, and that'll be a much better place to put it.
When we were doing the inspection, I was talking to the current owner, and we asked him if they thought about putting them in the linen closet when they were installed, a number of years ago, and he said, "Oh, that would be a great spot for it." But we didn't have the expertise to do that, so we just put them where they're at. So there was not a lot of thought going into it,
Right.
and that's a lot of owners that we come across. They're trying to run these properties the best they can, but they're not really thinking about it more holistically. And then we can have the opportunity to come in and make some of these changes that actually make a big difference with the configuration of the unit.
And again, we're just flipping the thing around, and it changes the whole way that kitchen works. So now we probably will put a wall behind it, so we block it off from the pantry, so someone actually has a pantry.
Yep.
Which shelves in there again. There's a hot water heater in there, and then the unit faces the hallway. And because of the way these things are front load, they're nice looking. We're probably going to get a white set, so it kind of blends in. It just works fine for us.
Yeah, when we mentioned it to him, he said, "Oh, that's a great idea. That's where you should put it," and that's where it should be. The other thing that I thought was unique in this courtyard area is really unique, and you're talking 16 units, so the people who live there are going to be able to get to know their neighbors. There's a skylight feature through a kind of a breezeway.
Yeah.
And then at the front of each of the units are really unique door window set, and the windows, you pointed this out, are 60 style windows that you can close the blinds on the middle windows and the lower windows, but there's a little piece that's probably a foot and a half tall at the top that you can leave open, and there's no covering on that window, and you get natural light in.
Yeah, so the windows go floor to ceiling, even though there's several panes of glass, and the top pane of glass about a foot in height. So I noticed that some residents had blinds or curtains that went all the way to the top, but a lot of them they've mounted the blinds and curtains at the second level. So you have this skylight effect, light coming through, and it lights up the whole thing, and no one can see it because that's 10 feet in the air.
Privacy's fine.
Yeah, but you get that light throughout the unit, and they're tall ceilings because they follow the roof line. But there's a lot of things like that we can take advantage of, and every unit's got an Arcadia door, sliding glass door, onto a semi-private patio that they share with the courtyard, and we're going to accentuate some of that also.
Talk a little bit about the color palette and kind of the style of what we're thinking, so that we maintain this mid-century modern look. What are some of the initial ideas?
Yeah, so Haley's come up with a bunch of great ideas. Interior, we're really going to hit that mid-century modern kind of look with some of the furniture. I say furniture, the vanities we put in that have legs to them, and the way that they look, they're really kind of cool. She came up with the tile we're going to use in the new shower, the walk-in shower areas. Really cool tile. But even on the exterior, this is just what happens after a while. You just start painting everything white or whatever the color is of the building.
Right.
So the breeze block and some of the planters that are kind of like this stair-step design, there's some cool things at the building but you don't even call out anymore because it's all just painted white. So I don't think we've got the final color palette picked out, or at least I haven't seen it, but the ideas and the way that she's looking at it, I love it, and we're gonna call out those areas and make them stand out more.
Yeah, and you can actually see the renderings and see some of the samples if you log into the site, look at the offering. All that information is in there, and you can actually see what the design concept is. I think any designer would be chomping at the bit, salivating to have this opportunity to take this building that is so unique in a great location and keep the cool elements of the building, but bring it up to 2021 resident standard. That somebody that wants to live in this area wants to be close to all those amenities, and it's going to be a really fun project for her and the rest of the team.
Yeah, and it's got what I like about it, again, the bones are good. We don't have to mess around with that, and all the other things that we're going to add to it are going to make it look even nicer. So it's a great project for us, and I don't doubt we're going to get the kind of rents we're thinking, which I think the range in this is going to be, $2,000 to $2,500 rents, somewhere in that range.
Yep.
Probably towards the top end of that. We're going to see how things work out. But it's when I mentioned the property to friends of mine that were in contract on it, a couple of them said, "Why would I live there?"
Yeah.
and it's nice. I mean, it's a private area. You have to drive back down a private driveway. It's the right location, and it feels very safe. But yet it feels very, I don't know what the word is. It feels just very comfortable being back there. And a lot of residents have little gardens too. So I like that idea.
Yeah, so we look forward to bringing this opportunity to our investors, and it's going to be a fun project that we're going to start here in the next few months and keep everyone up to date as we make progress and see the progress of this project over the next several months. So we look forward to that.
Yeah, perfect.